The lived experience that I have shared has been a combination of surviving another person's suicide, surviving PTSD, which was a direct result of that, surviving the PTSD that was a direct result of growing up in a violent home, surviving being a woman in a very, very competitive business. So you're talking about different types of sexism, discrimination, workplace bullying, workplace harassment. So there are lots of things that we have survived. Most recently, I have survived my mother's death. That happened just before the pandemic. Then, of course, we all just recently survived the pandemic. Just after the pandemic had started, I survived cancer. Currently, what we're doing is that we're launching something for small island developing states called Voices of SIDS. And the idea behind Voices of SIDS is that we're looking to meaningfully include persons with lived experience on every level of policy making, decision making when it comes to health programs, as well as health response to emergency and crisis. So the reason why I decided to start sharing my lived experience is exactly that. When you're an activist, I've been an activist my entire life, you really do feel a sense of anger or frustration when things don't seem to be changing, and a lot of that happens because of the secrets. So, for example, not a lot of women talk about menopause, not a lot of people talk about their cancer, not a lot of people talk about their chronic illnesses. They keep those things secret. And the only way you really know about it is if you happen to be a friend of the family, or maybe it's something that can't be hidden anymore. I've been to a lot of conferences in my life, and this is the first conference where I would use the word vulnerable to describe it. I do think that you've had health leaders, country leaders show up and boldly talk about their mistakes, talk about things that they tried that they did not see work. Not necessarily failures, but they had plans and their plans didn't work out. You have people talking about successes, but then talking about challenges and keeping those successes sustainable. This has been a very vulnerable and open conference, so that's the first side of it. The second reason why I think more conferences like this should happen is because when we take the politics and you take the, I don't want to say isolation, but definitely the lack of vulnerability out of problem solving for social impact, and you have people who have been making the plans and have been implementing the decisions, talking about the actual things that happened that led them to not continue with an initiative, or that's where we're actually going to get to the root of problems. So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to talk about Voices for SIDS. You can find out more about Voices for SIDS on the WHO Knowledge Access platform, which is at www.voicesforsids.com. That's the domain to our community there. And basically at Voices for SIDS, we're looking to get and grow a lived experience representative community for all small island developing states. So please visit the Knowledge Access platform and register for the platform so you can stay up to date with how this movement is going to grow throughout small island developing states. Thank you so much.